Now, on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app, O'Connor and Company.
8:07 now on O'Connor and Company. It's our fourth hour of our 4-hour morning conversation. If you missed any of it, you could always subscribe to our podcast so you can catch it anytime you're looking. Just click that subscription button, and we'd appreciate it. It's Larry O'Connor with Patrice Onwuka, who is getting into Mariah Carey here.
Oh, my goodness, yes.
Is this the one that gets you going?
Yes, I love this song. It is one of my favorites, and happy Friday, everybody.
All right, well, we can't do a thing until she hits it, so stand by. I guarantee you that our next guest is right now shaking her hips a little bit because she's a dancer at heart. Roma Daravi, she's also the spokesperson for the, is it officially now the Trump Kennedy Center, or is there a process here? I don't know, but whatever that building is over there on the Potomac, she speaks on behalf of it. Roma, Merry Christmas. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Larry. It's great to be with you. And we are coming to you from the Donald J. Trump and the John F. Kennedy Memorial Center for the Performing Arts.
There you go. I guess that's pretty official there. All right. So there's a lot of misinformation getting thrown around here. Let's start with the memorial part of it. You saw people from the Kennedy family, Shrivers mostly, all saying they can't do this because this is actually President Kennedy's memorial. It's like changing the name of the Lincoln Memorial. Explain that to us. Is there a distinction between the center, the Performing Arts Center, and the Kennedy Memorial?
Yeah, Larry, let's make things very clear. The Kennedy Memorial is not impacted at all by this name addition, adding Trump's name to the center. A little history lesson for any of your listeners that do not know, it was President Eisenhower who established the center in 1958. He signed the National Cultural Center Act, and when his term ended, President Kennedy continued working on the center, and it was only after his assassination that it became a memorial to him by name. So really, from the very beginning, this was a bipartisan institution, and as you know very well, for the last couple decades, it has not been one. This institution was completely taken over by the radical left. It was falling apart. The building itself was in $250 million of deferred maintenance. And President Trump went straight to Congress as soon as he became the chairman. He said, we need to save this building. And he had Congress put $257 million into the bill that goes straight to saving the Kennedy Center physically itself. So for anyone who says that this is not deserved, they simply have not been paying attention.
Well, he's also led the charge with a lot of corporate and private funding as well, and that's indisputable. There's also some suggestion this needs an act of Congress, that the board can't do this unilaterally. What's the detail there?
Yeah, well, the entire board was invited to attend this in person, and that includes all members, ex officio members that don't have a right to vote. So the statute really distinguishes between that general trusted appointees by the president that have a right to vote, and ex officio members, people that are put up there by their position in Congress. They do not. So all of that is codified by the center's bylaws, and I know there's a lot of misinformation out there from people online saying that I wasn't able to vote. They never had a vote to begin with.
Right.
So,
yeah. No, in fact, Majority Leader Thune said that himself. He said, I'm on the board, but I don't have a vote. There are some board members who are ex. No, the question, though, is does this require actual legislation from Congress to actually enact the name change?
No, the name change is final, Larry. So this action is in line with the precedent that the State Department took, adding President Trump's name to the Institute of Peace. It's also in line with the previous administration renaming military bases around the world. It's very, very standard, this practice. And I'll just say to point out the obvious, President Trump and Ambassador Grinnell, they have done so much to save this institution in just 11 months. It was falling apart. The staff were being paid in debt reserves. We had no money. The place would not have survived. And now we are thriving. $130 million was raised by private individuals and corporations. The lounges are being redone so that the patrons have a great experience when they come here. And it's truly a bipartisan institution now with both Trump and Kennedy's name in the title of the center, which is what it was always meant to be, a bipartisan institution. This is not about creating a place that forces people out the doors. It's about inviting people in.
Well said.
And that's what we've been working on all year long. This really just puts that set in stone, if you will.
Mm-hmm. So do you think there'll be an effort to invite the Kennedy family to be a greater part of what's going on now? They seem to be pretty probably critical, but from some of the responses we've seen, they've been absent. They have not really invested their time or energy into helping with fundraising efforts, into helping continue to keep the Kennedy Center, the Trump Kennedy Center, vital. So will there be another effort to try to bring them into the fold, and maybe they'll, whether or not they even accept that invitation?
Well, we invite them, definitely. We invite them to raise money for the center rather than just using it as a slush fund. That they have not done so. And I'll tell you, I did have our team look into it to make sure. We have not received money from any Kennedy over the most recent years. And the only Kennedy that stepped foot in the building is part of President Trump's cabinet. That is RFK Jr., as you all know. He comes to our shows all the time. He really loves the institution, loves bringing his whole family there, his grandkids. And that's what this place is all about. Come to this place with your families. We've created an environment where it's totally family friendly now. The programs before we got here did not reflect that. There is an invitation to the Kennedys to support financially the institution that they claim to care so much about, yet they've neglected for many, many years.
It's well said. I don't remember any of these Shrivers or Kennedy adjacents ever putting out a fundraising email or putting their name to any kind of effort to raise money to fix the dilapidated facilities there. They only care about this now because Trump is utilizing this space and utilizing it a lot. I got to say, Roma, they're keeping you busy because the Trump administration, outside of just the cool bookings that you're getting and sort of the standard fare, but like, for instance, the FIFA event, this space now is being utilized in dynamic ways that it was never dreamed of in the past. And I think that's what an institution like this needs.
It is. We are adding, not subtracting. And I say that over and over again because the media does not want to tell you the truth. We are adding so many things to the institution, free events like the first ever official 4th of July party at the Kennedy Center that we had this last year. We're adding amazing interactions with people that are renting our space like FIFA did. We made millions of dollars, and we had countries from all over the world. We had 700 media outlets from all over the world at the Kennedy Center covering FIFA, covering this great institution. That's what it's all about, really utilizing the space, opening it up to everybody, regardless of their background. It is open to all artists. It is open to all patrons. Just this last Wednesday, we had our first ever official Kennedy Center Christmas tree.
Yes.
And we had a tree lighting and a Christmas show with the true story of Jesus on Christmas. And it was beautiful, and that's something that we've never had before. So I'll say it until I'm blue in the face, Larry. We're adding to this place. We want to make sure that it is standing strong for years and years to come.
Don't be blue, Roma. It's not a great color on you, by the way. But you did look fabulous at the Kennedy Center honors the other night in your gorgeous red dress, rose-colored. kind of a dark ruby red, wasn't it? It was beautiful either way.
Thank you, Larry.
And you look great. And this Tuesday, the 23rd on CBS, everyone can watch those awards. You'll probably see Roma there on the red carpet. It was quite a night. And I wonder if, the president made a joke. He was the host of the show, and he made a joke about, welcome back here to the Trump Kennedy Center. And then he went, oops, I mean the Kennedy Center. It was a great moment. The place went nuts. And I hope that makes the final edit for the show.
Well, it just goes to show you, Larry, that this vote by the new board was completely a total surprise to the president. He said himself from the Oval Office that he was honored. He couldn't believe it, and he deserves it. It's been an absolute privilege to work and make sure that America's Cultural Center is thriving in a way it never did before.
It's great to come back and feel welcome at the Kennedy Center after all these years. I've lived here nearly 15 years now, and it's the first time where I really feel like it's part of our community the way it should be. And Lord knows, as we're on the brink of the 250th anniversary of our nation, the Kennedy Center is going to be front and center. Roma, rest up over the holidays because you're going to have a hell of a year next year.
Thank you, Larry. And just one last call out to everybody listening. There are so many amazing family-friendly shows over the holidays. We are open. Come and visit us.
All right. Thanks,
Great.
Roma.
Thank you.
It is 8:17.
WMAL, making sense of the news. Live from the Home Paramount Pest Control Studios. Home Paramount, the leader in pest control since 1939.
Fascinating day yesterday, the kickoff of the America Fest. This is Charlie Kirk's Turning Point USA vision. They have basically two huge events a year. America Fest is always in December before the holidays in Arizona, and the turnout there phenomenal, and the list of speakers incredible.
Not surprising.
But also... a fascinating combination of personalities, because there are a couple of people on the list that have sort of entertained this whole Candace Owens weird, maybe it was an inside job, Turning Point USA may have known about it or participated in the murder of Charlie Kirk, specifically Russell Brand. The English comedian, actor turned podcaster, and seemingly red-pilled a bit. He recently had Candace Owens on and let Candace Owens use that platform to float all of this stuff. And he didn't really challenge her, seemed to sort of go along with it. Also, Megyn Kelly, who was just, obviously a dynamo and basically a entrepreneur in the conservative commentariat space, now building out her podcast to be an entire network of podcasts, and now a SiriusXM channel. She has basically sort of tried to not take sides, I guess, is the best way to put it, in the whole Candace Owens channel. But I pause when I say don't take sides, because it's not like both sides are equal. It's not like there aren't sides
they're not the
here.
Same.
No, there aren't.
Not the same.
And Tucker Carlson was also on the list. I don't think he's weighed in on the Charlie Kirk assassination, Candace Owens things, but he has had an ongoing feud with Ben Shapiro, and Ben Shapiro was also on the list of speakers. I guess and again, I don't spend a lot of time on this show to talk about intermediate squabbles within. First of all, within the conservative movement, but certainly not within various talk show hosts and podcasters, because I don't know, it just feels like navel gazing. It's like I don't want to spend our platform and our show talking about what other podcasters and other radio hosts are doing. I rarely do that. That said, this is a thing, Patrice, and let's hear a little.
It's a big thing.
Yeah, it is. It really is. I make the editorial choice. We as a team make the editorial choice that our listeners are less concerned about talk show hosts and podcasters arguing amongst themselves. But when it comes down to, and what we have commented on, first of all, is our support of the state of Israel, because that becomes an issue here. And the fact that there are two sides in that issue, when one of the sides is Hamas and terrorists who kill and murder and slaughter innocent people, and they don't think the state of Israel has the right to exist. That's pretty unequivocal from our perspective. And secondly, we started talking about the Candace Owens things because Erica Kirk came out and started talking about it, and that's incredibly newsworthy. All right, with all of that background, here's Ben Shapiro yesterday during his speech. This, by the way, was before Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly took the stage. Cut 25.
Well, today, I want to talk about the future of the country. And the future of this country, this amazing country, relies on the future of the conservative movement. It relies on what TPUSA defines as its core mission: freedom, free markets, and limited government. And most of all, the future of this country relies on truth. This country relies on truth because victory, true, real, lasting victory, cannot be achieved without truth. Victory without truth is victory for a lie, and that is no victory at all. And unity without truth is no unity. It is merely solidarity in falsehood. The conservative movement is also in danger from charlatans who claim to speak in the name of principle, but actually traffic in conspiracism and dishonesty, who offer nothing but bile and despair, who seek to undermine fundamental principles of conservatism by championing enervation and grievance. These people are frauds, and they are grifters, and they do not deserve your time. And they are something worse than that: a danger to the only movement capable of stopping the left from wrecking the country wholesale.
All right. Now, this is all powerful. It's a 20-minute speech. I suggest you listen to all of it. For those who are saying, well, why isn't he naming names? Oh, he named names. Cut 26.
So, if Candace Owens decides to spend every day since the murder of Charlie Kirk casting aspersions at TPUSA and the people who work here, who worked with Charlie every single day, his best friends, to cast aspersions at Mikey McCoy and Andrew Colvin and Blake Neff and Tyler Boyer, and yes, at Erica Kirk, and to imply or outright claim complicity in a cover-up over Charlie's murder, to spew absolutely baseless trash implicating everyone from French intelligence to Mossad to members of TPUSA in Charlie's murder or a cover-up in that murder, then we, as people with a microphone, have a moral obligation to call that out by name. Erica Kirk and TPUSA never should have been put in the position to have to defend themselves against such specious and evil attacks, particularly in a time of mourning. And the people who refuse to condemn Candace's truly vicious attacks, and some of them are speaking here, are guilty of cowardice. Yes, cowardice.
That last line was directed toward Megyn Kelly, I believe, who is sort of in the spotlight for not condemning and has said outright that she refuses to condemn that. You heard the response from the crowd.
Yeah, they were cheering.
Seems to be a popular message. By the way, for her part, Candace Owens reposted that clip that you just heard on the X platform and said, "Every time Ben speaks, I feel more certain Israel is involved in the September 10th assassination of Charlie Kirk. He's way too invested in Charlie's murder. He never liked Charlie, and he's now suddenly pretending he had a duty to defend his legacy."
This is what happens when friend circles break up, and everybody. It was when one core friend who brought everybody together disappears, then everybody's fighting amongst each other. I think it's disgusting. It's distasteful. But hey, I love that that Ben Shapiro said what a lot of us have been saying for many years about some of these charlatans. It's
well,
just
and I think
it's good that it's coming out.
You've been in particular critical of some of the things that Candace Owens been engaged in.
I've peeped her game from years and years and years ago, and I've discouraged groups from getting involved with her, and whatever. At this point, though, we need to move forward. It's sickening. It's sickening.
Erica Kirk did speak, by the way, and she sort of made a glancing joke about Candace, but she's trying to take everything with in good stride. She's also probably not trying to provoke more attacks on her from Candace's followers because, why should she have to deal with it? I will say this. I mean, Ben, I agree with most of what Ben said. I partially quibble with him saying that those of us who have a microphone have a moral obligation to call out people. I think many of us make the choice to ignore some of these things, partly because our moral obligation is to present the very best informed topical show for our audience. And sometimes that means, we're not going to get into these topics because that's not the best show for our audience. I do think that Ben, in his own way, is making good on a moral obligation he has. Because let's face it, it was his company, Daily Wire, that platformed and elevated Candace Owens to the soaring heights that she's in right now. So I respect Ben. I love him as a friend and a brother because we've been through so much together back to the Breitbart days in 2010, 15 years ago. But when it comes to moral obligation, I think that's his obligation that he's fulfilling, and he's doing it very well. It is 8:27.
WMAL FM, Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station. Making sense of the news. News Talk 105.9. News now. Now on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. O'Connor and Company.
8:37, O'Connor and Company. Thanks for tuning in here. 30 minutes from now, Chris Plant will take over. It's Larry with Patrice. Good morning, Patrice.
Good morning. Happy Friday, everybody. The last one before Christmas.
Joining us is Seamus Brunner. He's the Director of Research for the Government Accountability Institute. That's Peter Schweitzer's group. Peter Schweitzer, of course, famously wrote the book, Throw Them All Out, exposing the uncanny parallel of really brilliant stock trades by members of Congress and then legislation that ended up helping those stocks. In fact, I saw a graph the other day, Seamus, that showed Nancy Pelosi's stock trades, and it showed it alongside Warren Buffett's stock trades. The Oracle of Omaha has nothing on the babe from the Bay because she ran circles around Warren Buffett. So what's Congress going to do about it, Seamus Brunner?
Yeah, it's great to be with you, Larry. Nancy Pelosi up 744% since 2014. It's insane how much she has outperformed the market. Wish we had some intel like that. But Congress has been working on it supposedly for years. I mean, it's been over a decade since Peter Schweitzer's book came out. They passed a law called the Stock Act, but then they gutted it at the last minute. So it was supposed to increase disclosure. Then they took all the teeth out, so there's no enforcement. There's been a few attempts. Now, Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna, I applaud her. She's got this petition, but you can really see that this is a bipartisan issue, this insider trading in Congress, because, you can't even get Republicans, all of them, to vote on these things. So both sides do it. There's Republicans with over 700 trades this year, even as they're getting secret briefings that none of us get the intel on. So the Democrats now, they're finally pretending like they want to do something about it, but only if it includes President Trump and his cabinet.
Well, what I don't understand. Oh, go ahead, Patrice.
Well, I mean, to that point, so Democrats have been in opposition, or they've just been silent up to this point, because there have been other bills in the past decade trying to, as you laid out, get rid of this problem, and Democrats have not joined with Republicans. Or who's really been the biggest challenge here?
Well, it's a mixture. I mean, there are many Republicans. Senator Josh Hawley, he proposed the Pelosi Act. Then it was renamed the Honest Act that was supposed to do that. Now, that's, I guess, maybe working its way through. So some Republicans are in favor of banning trading by members of Congress. What Peter Schweitzer recommended all those years ago was put all of your assets in a blind trust or mutual funds, just not individual stocks that can go up and down with the decisions and the votes you make. But there's Republicans and Democrats on both sides who both want to ban it and who want to continue to make money with the inside information they get in Congress. And usually the uniparty wins.
Yeah, and let's talk about the executive branch for a second. First of all, the legislative branch shouldn't be what's right for the legislative branch shouldn't be beholden to what the executive branch is doing. But you mentioned the president and the cabinet. I know for a fact that people who go work for the administration, they have to divest. They have to sell their private interests. Is it not the same for the cabinet secretary?
Yeah, it's exactly right. I mean, the White House and the cabinet and all the people who work for the executive branch, they have far more increased disclosures. And you're right, they have to, in agencies where you're going to be able to affect, like a lot of people went into the Trump Treasury Department had to sell off all of their stocks because the Treasury affects so much, as well as their crypto, because there would be regulations relating to crypto. So yes, the executive branch is much tougher to trade on insider information than in Congress. I think this is a political ploy by the Democrats just to make it, pay lip service to the people who want to ban trading, but they know that if they make it tough enough for the White House, it'll never get signed.
Oh,
we're speaking with Seamus Brunner, Director of Research at the Government Accountability Institute. Talk about the teeth. Like, what kind of enforcement, proposals are out there to really make that a stronger penalty to discourage this kind of behavior?
Yeah, well, the Stock Act, it was supposed to make it so that there was real-time disclosure, because if you disclose your trades in real time, then people can actually see. Now, what we found is they made it so that it's a 45-day delay, and so it makes it much harder for investigative journalists and people like us to track what votes and what information they would have gotten when you don't find out about it for 45 days. And then when they don't disclose within that 45-day window, it's like no penalties at all. Now, there could be all kinds of penalties. There could be fines. There could be, ethics investigations from the House and Senate. But we have not seen really any of that, even though we've seen throughout from COVID to the Ukraine war, any sort of war, they're always buying up defense stocks before, actions are taken. So really need some penalties on that.
So finally, Seamus, what's the sort of, the nuts and bolts or the inside baseball part of how this goes through? Is leadership behind this? Will they be presenting the bill, or is this a discharge petition? How many signatures do they have on the discharge petition, or is this just going to die again?
Yeah, well, as it stands, Congresswoman Luna's petition only has 74 signatures. It needs 218.
There's a shock.
Yeah. So, and then as far as a bill being passed, that's even further away. Now, Pelosi, on her way out the door, she's opposed this for decades, but now on her way out the door, she actually is in favor of it, which is interesting. Just 3 years ago, she said, no, I'm a free market capitalist. You should be able to trade. So only after she's made her money, she's backing it. But I think the calls are getting louder and louder, and people just say, why can't you use mutual funds or put them into a blind trust?
By the way, now that Pelosi's on her way out, I love this. This week, the New York Times headline, Pelosi resisted stock trading ban as wealth grew, fueling suspicion. Suddenly, the New York Times has figured out.
They figured there's a story there.
What you and Schweitzer and the Government Accountability Institute's been talking about for over 10 years. Well, always ahead of the curve there, Seamus. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much.
Yeah. Thanks, Larry. Thanks, Patrice.
8:44.
Mark Levin, weekdays 6 till 9 on 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
Patrice Onwuka, one thing that we've lamented here on this program is that Washington, D.C., our community, our city, our neighborhood has become a political battleground. It's not supposed to be that way. People who come and serve in administration or in the Senate or in the Congress as an elected official or as an appointed staff member or cabinet member, they should be able to live a life in our city without being attacked for their politics. And let's be clear, we're talking about conservatives, Republicans, and Trump supporters who were consistently attacked.
Oh, yeah. No one else.
when they try to go out and live their life. And it happened to the Secretary of the Treasury, Scott Bessent. He was out at a restaurant in D.C. trying to enjoy himself, and this happened.
Make an announcement. We have a special guest here, and we want to make a toast for the Secretary of Treasury, Scott Bessent. Oh, yeah. So let's give it up for the man who is eating in peace as people starve across the world based on his sanctions, which are economic warfare.
Of course you're going to boo this. It's the truth.
He oversees the death of 600,000 people due to sanctions annually. And this president, let's cheers to the Monroe Doctrine. Trump today said that Venezuelan oil
ignorant, and you have no idea how ignorant you are.
Ignorant. You are responsible for the death of 600,000 people annually because of sanctions. How many people are going to die because of the blood is on your hands?
All right, enough.
Yeah,
and you heard Secretary Bessent there reply and say you're ignorant and you have no idea how ignorant you are. There you go. And this is a restaurant in Adams Morgan. It appears as though these protesters, which I'm guessing are with Code Pink, were
Code Pink is claiming them.
Yeah.
They put out a tweet saying, "Watch Code Pink activists just confronted Scott Bessent." It was at Reveler's Hour, apparently. That's the name of the restaurant.
And my guess is that they were tipped off by the restaurant ownership or management or a waiter.
Probably, or maybe someone else who was there at the time. I mean, this is, there's a reason why people were booing them. And it's because at some point in time, you need to put the garbage away, put the outrage about everything away, and let people dine in peace and quiet. And
if hundreds of millions of people are being slaughtered because of the Treasury Secretary's policies, you can't stay silent, Patrice. That's their argument.
That's what they say. But listen, hundreds of thousands of girls get mutilated every few years in a lot of these very same countries as Code Pink activist is talking about. And I'm pretty sure they're not talking about female genital mutilation. In fact, we have female genital mutilation here in this country. And you know what? That can have some pretty dire, even deadly consequences for women. So I don't buy into their outrage. I don't think anybody else should. And it's time for these restaurants to kick these crazies out when they start going ranting and being disruptive.
That's the key. I remember something like this happened. By the way, I have no doubt that it's not faux outrage. I think that they actually believe this. I think that they're actually warped in the head, and they believe that they're doing the Lord's work if they believe in God. I do remember this happened in a restaurant in Washington, D.C. to Senator Ted Cruz during the first Trump administration, and I remember the restaurant ownership actually was mortified, outraged, helped the senator, take shelter in the kitchen while the owner actually cleaned house and got those protesters out and called the police. That's what needs to happen. And frankly, I think the district council has to pass some very strict laws about this.
Good ordinance, yes.
This is not free speech in any way whatsoever. This is not free speech. It is disruptive. It is disturbing the peace. And ultimately, Washington, D.C., our nation's capital, has to be a place for everyone to be able to live and function and
spend their money
and go see the opera
dinner
at the Trump Kennedy Center. It's 8:52.